As more and more parents push back against gender stereotypes, retailers are choosing to throw out the pink and blue rule book and embrace a gender-neutral approach to marketing children's toys and clothing. Growing up in the 1970s, Montessa Chopwell never thought too hard about the significance of just two colors, pink and blue. But when her son was born in 2006, she started to notice the way society likes to color-code the sexes. At a magazine stand one day, her son pointed out a children's magazine he wanted to buy, but his hand snapped back and he said, "Look, Mommy, I cannot have it. That sign says just for girls." Chopwell told the BBC, "I was just flabbergasted." The incident was one of several that opened her eyes to the way children's clothing and toy manufacturers aggressively market by gender. Now a member of the Let Toys Be Toys campaign in the United Kingdom launched in 2012. Chopwell tries to put pressure on children's brands to expand their marketing to include both genders, so that no little boy or girl thinks they are playing with the wrong toy. The organization says 15 retailers across the United Kingdom, including Boots and John Lewis, have removed boys and girls signs from their marketing. "We are not against pink. We are not against blue," Chopwell says. "Children can play with all toys. It's just signs are people that tell them they cannot." Children's toys were not always this gendered, says Professor Elizabeth Sweet, who researches gender and toys at San Jose State University in California. Toys were much less gendered historically than they are today. She told the BBC, "Some of the hottest toys of the mid-century Tiddlywinks, Slinkies and Silly Putty were enjoyed by all." In her surveys of vintage catalogs, Sweet notes that both genders would often play with a toy, or play with a toy that might challenge their gender stereotype. Toys that were gendered tended to focus on occupations the child might have in the future. Baby dolls for girls are building blocks for boys. But by the 1990s, things started to shift, Sweet says, in part as a reaction to the women's revolution in the 70s and the growth of women in the workplace in the 1980s. Popular books like Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and The Female Brain emphasize the inherent differences between men and women, and that way of thinking about gender spilled over into children's toys. She says, toy manufacturers will now often create two sets of the same toy, in different colors, marketed to different genders. Gender children's toys have also changed from being occupation-focused to fantasy-focused. She says, away go the little homemaker, and what I call the young man of industry, and in their place come the princess and the superhero. She says, those stereotypes were woven into a fantasy world, and somehow became more palatable to people. There are signs of backlash against these rigid norms. In addition to the strides made in the United Kingdom, retailers around the world are beginning to feature more gender-neutral marketing and gender-neutral products. In this year's Christmas catalog, Canadian retailer Canadian Tire included gender-neutral images of children playing. On one page, a girl was seen playing with a power tool, while another page featured a boy enjoying a play kitchen set. The imagery in the one guide was intentionally chosen because we encourage all kids to play, create and dream with whatever toy is on their wish list, says Caroline McPherson, Associate Vice President of Kids Fun at Canadian Tire. We believe it is so important to provide the fun stuff that allows kids to imagine and grow, unhindered by traditional gender stereotypes. The trend has gone beyond toys, and even extended to clothes. Abercrombie and Fitch and John Lewis each launched a unisex children's line, in 2017, ending one of the most memorable online ads of the year. Upmarket children's clothing brand Nunu partnered with singer Celine Dion to launch a clothing line with gender neutrality for little people with freedom of mind. Although Nunu has featured unisex items in the past, this collaboration is unique in that there are no boys or girls sections for the clothing on the website. I have always loved Nunu and what they represent. Partnering with them to encourage a dialogue of equality and possibility makes so much sense. See line XX https code WYOQNDHIA#KSELINNUNU at SELINNUNU pic. Twitter.com/54H4NT. End of Twitter post by @Celine. The ad features Dion in full camp mode, breaking into a hospital and evading authorities, while she blows the quality fairy dust on newborn babies bundled in pink and blue blankets. There has been growing demand for unisex clothing, says Shelley Ziff, the chief business officer for Israeli company Nunu. Responses to the campaign have been both positive and negative. She says, "We have had these amazing responses. People who are loving the message and loving the brand, and natural and also people who are not fans, and who is not their cup of tea." They've told the BBC, "Anything that is different from what people define as the norm is maybe even scary sometimes." A popular tourist attraction has become the latest Chinese company to show solidarity with Huawei's chief finance officer, Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested in Canada on 1 December. Shannon Mountain Scenic Park in eastern Hainan province said it would waive the $9.65 yuan ticket fee for anyone carrying a Huawei phone. Ms. Meng, who was given bail in Canada, faces extradition to the United States on charges of breaking Iran sanctions. Her case has upped tensions with China. Use Huawei phones, shoot grand photos on the mountain. A notice on the Shannon Park's social media account said, "We wish friends around the world who support Huawei's success and bliss." The offer would last until 29 December. The South China Morning Post reported, but it was met with some criticism among China's social media users, who claimed it was discriminatory. Huawei phone owners are being offered other enticements too. They can get a 20% discount at a border in Beijing. Seen in Beijing, bring a Huawei phone and get 20% off. Similar to this story we covered yesterday. https QQXL19YPQLPIC. Twitter.com Sokolov. End of Twitter post by @LuOceanG. At least one firm has threatened to penalize anyone buying Apple products. A few days ago, Manpada Shenzhen-based LED and display manufacturer offered subsidies to any employees buying Huawei phones. It also pledged to fine anyone who bought an Apple iPhone. United States prosecutors alleged Ms. Meng
46
used a Huawei subsidiary called Skycom to evade sanctions on Iran between 2009 and 2014. They also alleged she publicly misrepresented Skycom as being a separate company from Huawei, and that she deceived banks about the true relationship between the two companies. Ms. Meng, who is the daughter of Huawei's founder, has denied any wrongdoing and said she will contest the allegations. Life of Huawei's high-flying heiress. The United States has been investigating the Chinese telecoms giant, the world's second-largest smartphone maker, since 2016, believing that it used Skycom to bring United States manufacturing equipment and millions of dollars in transactions to Iran in violation of sanctions. Ms. Meng's detention comes amid an increasingly acrimonious trade dispute between Washington and Beijing. China is angry at her detention, saying she has not violated any laws. Beijing has threatened severe consequences unless Canada releases the executive. Since her arrest, 2 Canadians, a former diplomat, and a businessman have been detained in China on suspicion of harming national security. United States President Donald Trump said last week that he might intervene in the United States Justice Department's case against this man if it would serve national security interests. I'll help achieve a trade deal with China if I think it's good for what will be certainly the largest trade deal ever made, which is a very important thing. What's good for national security? I would certainly intervene if I thought it was necessary, he told Reuters news agency. Canada reacted by urging Mr. Trump not to politicize the situation.